As we speak about the aspect of the authorities, we are now joined live from our Eldoret studios by Daniel Kiptoo, who's the Director General of EPRA. Thank you for joining us on NTV Weekend Edition tonight, Bwana Kiptoo. Just to kick it off straight off, I see a number of statements from various government agencies, including yourselves as EPRA. And one thing that, just for the avoidance of doubt or assumption, who owns this company called Maxis, which is pretty much at the center of this whole situation?
Yes, thank you, Dan. I think first I just want to start by issuing my condolences to those who lost their lives, and I empathize with those who were injured in this very unfortunate incident. We were there when the incident happened. We were quick to respond. We were there with a multi-agency team. We were there until early in the morning to try and ensure that all the people evacuated and went to hospital. In terms of the question you've asked on who owns the facility is owned by a company. The company is licensed by us as a transporter of LPG. The company is also licensed to operate a facility in Nanyuki under the brand name Maxis. This facility, actually, we did raid the facility the week before last, found them conducting illegal activities of filling other brand owner cylinders. We did arrest those who were present on site. We prosecuted them in court. The matter is ongoing. For the facility that had the unfortunate incident yesterday, that facility was not licensed. There wasn't any approval from us. They attempted to apply to us as the Energy and Petroleum Regulatory Authority for a construction permit 3 times, which we declined because of the challenges around safety. This is a facility that is not new to us as the authority. In 2020, we demolished the site. We again demolished the site a second time. Unfortunately, it kept mushrooming back up. What happened on the day on our preliminary investigations is they were filling LPG cylinders directly out of a truck, which is an offense under Legal Notice 100, which is the LPG regulation. We did not approve any license for that facility. This is an illegal facility. It's an illegal den. It's an unfortunate incident, and we are following up with the authorities, again, in a multi-agency manner to ensure that those who are culpable are brought to book.
All right, and what I think I was going for is, yes, it's a company that owns it, but do we know the individual? Because there have been, some messages.
Yes.
And the individual, who is this individual behind this company?
Yes, I don't think it would be proper for me to put the name out in live television, but we've been able to share the application documents, including the company CR12 for the company and the contacts of the individual with the appropriate authorities. I believe as we speak, he may be in custody of the police because the authorities have been tracking him down and also tracking down the other director of the company as well.
All right. Now, you denied these guys a license. Then they have been operating. Was EPRA totally unaware of these operations?
I think I want to clarify one issue, because this one was an illegal site. It was not a facility because there was no construction. As I said, what they were doing is they were driving an LPG truck. The company is licensed to transport LPG. They were driving this truck into this facility and then filling directly from the truck into the LPG cylinders. So there were no bullets or spheres in terms of storage for LPG. Though they had obtained physical planning approval, that is what then allowed them then to make an application to us, which we declined. We really, as the Energy Petroleum Regulatory Authority, conduct continuous surveillance and enforcement to ensure that these illegal facilities are decommissioned and demolished. A case in point, I have just seen you have run a clip on an enforcement activity we conducted last year, sometimes I believe in October, where we demolished a site. The day before yesterday, yesterday on the 1st, we were again in the industrial area demolishing the facility which had again been reconstructed. So we want to acknowledge that it's a big challenge in our sector in terms of illegal refilling, the grey market, those who are not licensed, who we are obligated to shut down working in a multi-agency with state security agencies. But also we have licensed facilities which we conduct technical audits, and where a facility does not meet a threshold, at least achieve 50%, we then suspend those facilities until they conform as well.
All right. And when you say you have continuous surveillance, when you listen to the residents around there, the people who are around there, they say they are aware that that kind of activity has been happening. There had been complaints even before about people smelling gas. Was this ever brought to EPRA? Because it seems there's a disconnect between what's on the ground and what the authority and other agencies as well are doing.
Yes, I think really we need to look at this issue as Kenyans, and in terms of the citizenry to be good corporate citizens of our country. We cannot have our officers, particularly as EPRA, in every estate, in every village, in every home. But what we do is do public education. We also work with the National Government Administration officers and also the National Police Service. Once we undertake surveillance, we're able then to undertake action. I'm not aware that there was a report in the last week or two on this facility from the residents that came from us, but I think this is one of the areas that we really are advocating for Kenyans to be their brother's keeper. If there's a facility or something that you believe is not being done in accordance with the law, you're able to report to us, or also the national government agencies of security, so that then we can be able to take appropriate action. But to your specific question, whether there's a report made to us on this facility in the recent past, the answer is no. But as I said, this is a facility that is not new to us. We have demolished it 3 times. We did not give an approval for it. It was a yard which they were then filling directly from a truck.
And when you had this company, those who are behind it in court, and you said there was a court matter that was happening, and the court freed them, and you felt that, did you feel that the fine that was slapped was not enough or not sufficient?
Yes, I think the fines, and I'll speak to this because the Petroleum Act 2019 and the Energy Act 2019, I think other than the Sexual Offences Act, these are the only 2 other legislation that prescribe minimum fines. The minimum fine is 10 million shillings or a minimum of 5 years imprisonment. I really will not speak to the court processes, but there was a logic as to why Parliament passed legislation with those minimum fines. But again, we are a country governed by the rule of law. Once we find a facility in a malpractice, we're able to first acting with our National Police Service and acting with the Office of the DPP to charge them in court. The principle of the innocent until proven guilty applies as well. We go through the long and very laborious court process before we arrive at a determination. With this specific facility, also on the administrative side, and this is really for us as a regulator, we issue improvement notices. We issue letters to show cause because we are governed again by the rule of law, where we have to apply fair administrative action. But where facilities are really causing or a real hazard in terms of health and safety of Kenyans, we actually go ahead and seal these facilities, and then continue the administrative action after taking the enforcement action of ensuring that our people first are safe. But again, Dan, this is a very unfortunate incident where we need a collaborative approach. We as the sector-specific regulator working with the county governments who are in charge of physical planning, working with the state security actors, the DPP, and more importantly, the public, because it is the public who are aware of what is going on in the environment where they live, who are able to report to us and the state security agencies, so that then we can avert situations such as this. So,
Bwana Kiptoo, as we close, do you honestly feel that EPRA had no part to play in letting down the public in this situation?
No, I would not be fair to say that EPRA had no part to play, because it is our legal mandate to license, to enforce. But as I said, we work with state security agencies, and I don't think it is an issue of apportioning blame, because as I said, we as the regulator, sector-specific regulator, had demolished this facility 3 times. When they applied for a construction permit as required in law, 3 times again, we denied them. So it is not an issue of basically saying the EPRA as a sector-specific regulator let the country down. It is not an issue of pointing blame to the county government who's in charge of fiscal planning or the state security agencies, because you'll be alive to the fact that also the sector-specific regulator does not have the tools of the state. And in some of those areas, I know your journalists are there with us, those who are with us in the early hours of this morning at the side, at the scene, also appreciate that we also need the support of the state security agencies, which we do get in enforcing some of these very challenging environments where we work in.
Thank you very much, Daniel Kiptoo, the Director General of EPRA, for speaking to us on NTV Weekend Edition. We shall keep in touch as we continue covering this issue, and just because of the national interest it carries. Thank you for joining us.